Okay, in this demonstration, I want to show you a little bit about how to save brushes and import brushes. Okay, in the last demo I showed you how to make a new brush, but in this one I want to show you how to save it and also bring new ones in. So let's go ahead and we'll choose the brush tool, and let's export the brush that you just made, and we'll save it out so that you could take it home with you. Let's say if you made it at school or you made it at someone else's house, or if you just want to share it with other people, you can email it to other people too. Alright, so we're going to select this brush, and then I'm going to pull this panel over here so that when I go to the panel dialog box, I can go over and find where it says Save Brushes. And it's going to pull up this information and make sure that you have the right brush selected, and we'll just call this Roses. And the other thing too is that it's going to automatically want to save it into your Adobe brushes file. If you want to export it out somewhere else, then you could go ahead and send it, say, to your desktop or something like that. Okay, and so we'll just go ahead and send it to our desktop, and we'll create a new folder on the desktop, and we'll call it Brushes. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and save it. Alright, so now it's saved. Let's go ahead and find it on our desktop. Okay, so I pulled up a Finder window. I'm on a Mac, and I went to my desktop, and then I went to my new Brushes folder, and then if I open that Brushes folder, you can see that it saved out a little file called roses.abr, and the ABR file is specifically a brush file. So all you would have to do is send that to somebody or take it with you on your thumb drive or something, and then at a different computer, when you sit down at Photoshop, you just double click this file and it will automatically install itself into Photoshop. Okay, so I could tell you some best practices. One of the things that you could do is, let's say that if you want to download some brushes from the internet, you could automatically just install them into the default Photoshop brushes folder, but what I prefer to do is I prefer to keep a separate folder somewhere on my hard drive, either in my documents folder or in the root level directory of my hard drive, that are resource files. Whether I'm saving out brushes or I'm saving out fonts or whatever, I usually will keep them categorized, and that way I know that those brushes did not come default with my computer and that they were in fact things I downloaded from the internet. So we'll just go ahead and use this brushes folder as our example. So let's go ahead and see what we can do if we download something to the internet, or from the internet. Okay, so I just did a Google search for Photoshop free brushes and just pulled something up, and I decided I wanted to try this Grunge Worn Lines. Okay, and I clicked on the download button, and I get this, and you can either save the file or you can open the file. If you open it, basically it's you're either going to probably download a RAR file or a zip file or some other kind of compression format file. So if you choose to open it, then it's gonna go ahead and open it for you, and it tells me that I can't open it because it's not finding the format, but I'll have to choose to do that on my own. So I'll just save the file for right now, and it's going to save it for me wherever I tell it to save it. So let's go ahead and we'll go to desktop, and then we'll go back to that brushes folder, and we'll save it inside of here. And just so you can see what I'm doing, I hit save, and it's downloaded for me. Okay, so here we are in our brushes folder again, and this is where it downloaded it for me. And what you have to do sometimes, whether you're on a Mac or a PC, occasionally it'll say that it doesn't know how to open something, but you just have to pick the program that you want to use to open it. So if I right click this and I say open with, let's do this over here, right click and I can open with, I have a free version of StuffIt Expander on my computer, so we'll try StuffIt Expander. And what it's doing is it opened it up for me, and it did in fact decompress it. So I'm going to go ahead and install this now just by simply double clicking it, and you'll see that it actually went ahead and it gave me all these new brushes. So sometimes whenever you download a brush, you're downloading a brush set. It's not just one brush. And what it actually ended up downloading, here, let's knock this down so it won't be so big, is it downloaded the 2500 number all the way through this last 2500 number. So it's categorizing these in a set called 2500. So let's just see what happens here if we choose some of these different brushes. And first of all, I'm going to go ahead and show my layers, and we'll make a new layer that's for our new brush, and we'll test it out. And you can see that it's huge right now, so if I go back to my brush presets and I turn the size down, it's much smaller. Okay, so let's say that I want it to fill up this entire document, so maybe something almost that big but not quite. And so I'm just sort of experimenting with size here. So let's say that this is what we decide we want. Well, a little bit smaller. There we go. Let's try that. And you can see what it does here. Okay, so that's just one example of the brush. And remember, you have all these other brushes as well. You also had, let's see what this one does. And we can also do it in a different layer as well on top of it. And let's change the color perhaps, so that we've got sort of like a yellow color maybe. And now we've got that. So you can start to create a lot of different patterns and things like that with different brushes, and can lower the opacity, do whatever you want. Anyway, but the point is, you can download free brushes from anywhere and install them very simply, and you can use them in your work. Now, one word to the wise that I should give you some caution about is that if you're, especially if you're on a PC, but this is still true of Macs, you might want to be careful about where you're downloading stuff from. If you're not sure about the source, it's important that you're running antivirus software, especially on a PC, because sometimes free fonts and free brushes and free resources of different sorts basically sometimes will come with viruses. So it's really important that you have some antivirus software and make sure that whenever you download something that it gets scanned. Okay, and that's the end of the demo on how you can export your own brush and also load other people's brushes.